We have some disturbing video of a congressional hearing again tonight that you really need to see, because the most incompetent president in history has appointed the most incompetent cabinet in history. Today, it was Housing and Urban Development Secretary Ben Carson's turn to show what the Trump cabinet does not know.
Do you believe the substandard public housing conditions pose a risk to tenants' physical, mental, and emotional health?
You already know the answer to that.
Yes or no?
You know the answer.
Yes or no? I know the answer. Do you know the answer? Yes or no?
Reclaiming my time.
You don't get to do that.
Oh.
The time belongs to the gentle lady.
That was freshman Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts. Here is Congresswoman Nydia Velázquez of New York.
Secretary, do you know how many people are in the waiting list for public housing and Section 8 vouchers?
In your district, you mean?
No, nationwide.
There are hundreds of thousands.
No, there are 4.4 million people, by the way.
That's a number he should know. Secretary Carson's wild guess is that there are hundreds of thousands of people on the waiting list for public housing in America, but it's actually 4.4 million, 10 times more than he thought. He is supposed to be serving those people, but he does not even know that they exist. And then came freshman Congresswoman Katie Porter, and Secretary Carson literally did not know what she was talking about.
I'm not asking you about the interest rate, sir. I'm asking you about debenture interest curtailment penalties.
Explain.
So, all right, so FHA uses different servicing and conveyance procedures than the GSEs do. And the result of this is that the cost of servicing, mortgage servicing at FHA for a non-performing mortgage is 3 times the cost of doing the equivalent servicing at the GSEs for a non-performing loan. That tripling of cost in servicing, which then has the effect of reducing the credit availability to the American people, because when you drive up servicing costs, then servicers overlay with cost overlays, and it makes the loans more expensive for the very homeowners that FHA is designed to serve. So my question I'm trying to drive at here is, why is FHA, to use a term that I think we can both understand, lousy at servicing mortgages?
Okay, I have not had any discussions about that particular issue, but I will look it up, find out what's going on.
So as you look it up, I'd also like you to get back to me, if you don't mind, to explain the disparity in REO rates. Do you know what an REO is?
An Oreo?
No, not an Oreo, an REO, R-E-O.
Real estate?
What's the O stand for?
Organization?
Owned, real estate owned. That's what happens when a property goes to foreclosure.
Joining us now is Congresswoman Katie Porter, Democrat from California. Congresswoman Porter, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. What was it like to be speaking to the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development and basically having to apparently teach him the elementary aspects of his job?
It was disappointing, and frankly, it was frustrating. Look, these are real people's lives that he is supposed to be improving through providing quality housing and affordable housing and FHA loans, and he doesn't understand. And in fact, he thought it was my job to teach him. You saw the clip where he told me to explain it to him, which I obliged him, but he also told me that I was welcome to come into HUD and explain everything to him and his staff. And this is not my job, it's his job, and I really wish he'd take it seriously for the sake of the American people.
Well, we had reports just within this week that he has illegally spent $8,000 on a dishwasher for his office, $40,000 in china and dishes and different things for a dining room at his office. And so that clearly demonstrates a real attention to things like that in his office. But I listened to a lot of the testimony throughout the hearing, not just his answers to you. I couldn't find anything that the secretary actually knew anything about in what is his jurisdiction.
No, I think he literally gave zero competent answers today. I think this was, and there is competition for this, as you know.
Yes.
But I think this was the worst performance that I have certainly seen to date in financial services, and just incredibly disappointing. I mean, there are people who are facing foreclosure, people who are facing homelessness, people who are on wait lists for low-income housing. I represent Orange County, California, and we have a real affordable housing crisis in coastal California. And our HUD secretary has made very clear that the only details he cares about are the details that affect his life, the price and functioning of the $8,000 dishwasher.
What should the HUD secretary be doing for your district?
The HUD secretary should be addressing the affordable housing issues that we're facing. So I spent over a decade studying families in foreclosure, and even in a strong economy like this, even with low rates of unemployment, some families are still going to get in trouble. They're going to become disabled. They're going to fall behind on their mortgage loans. He should be making sure that when families fall behind, that his agency, FHA, is doing its job of assisting borrowers and helping them get back on their feet, to stay in the houses if they can, and if those houses do have to go to foreclosure, making sure that he's minimizing the losses to the taxpayers and to the banks, and ultimately to the American borrowers and public that FHA is supposed to serve.
Congresswoman Katie Porter, you did it again today. You certainly take full advantage of your 5 minutes in those hearings, and we're really grateful that you came to join us again tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on the button below for more from The Last Word and the rest of MSNBC.